We recommend listening to the CW Pod with a glass of Steeple Ridge Bourbon. Grown, distilled, well-rested, and bottled in Erling, Iowa. Now from the Channel Seed Studios, this is the CW Pod, fueled by Steeple Ridge.
What is up? Welcome to CW Pod here on the 15th. I'm recording this on the 15th. You're probably getting it on the 16th. I am Chris Williams. We are presented as always by our friends at Steeple Ridge Bourbon, baby. Really good little trip if you're in the western side of the state to go to Erling and check out the Steeple Ridge. Not the Lonely Oak Distillery. They make Steeple Ridge Bourbon, all other great spirits. Pat and his family do a great job, and it is a gorgeous location out there. I'd highly encourage any of you to do that over the summer months if you want to do a little road trip. Of course, you can tell them that we sent you. Buy a bunch of bottles at your local liquor store as well. Thank them for supporting everything we do here on Iowa Everywhere. I got 3 topics I'm going to get through today. One of them a little sentimental, a couple, one of them on local media, and another one to do with sports. We'll start with sports. We'll work to the sentimental stuff. We are going to be doing a little bit something different here on this particular show on Iowa Everywhere. It's still going to be interview driven. I'm still going to have people on. My friend Chris Hassel has encouraged me to do more monologues. He hates it when I have guests on. He doesn't hate the guests. This is Chris's flavor of the week, and I respect him. And he wants me to do more of these monologues, so I'm going to do it. And I do have deep thoughts that I don't get to go too in depth on all the time on the other shows because we have to move a little quicker. So I'm going to be doing that more and more often here. Again, we're not going to do away with the other stuff, but if you do have topics that you guys want me to dig deeper on, I do a lot of media stuff, a lot of the business stuff, business of college athletics. You guys know, right? If you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, you know my wheelhouse. If there's stuff you want me to dive deeper on, let me know, because a lot of times when you guys ask me a question, it will trigger thoughts, and it helps my creativity flow. Kind of like the Steeple Ridge does, baby. I'm writing a book right now. I'd like to have a little glass of Steeple Ridge while I'm writing. One of my favorite pastimes of the last couple of years. All right, I'm going to start with Brett Yormark. I'm going to get into some local media topics, and then I want to tell you a story about my daughter. My 5-year-old daughter, who probably had the best weekend of my life with last weekend. And it's just funny how we can learn from our kids. And I had like this crazy moment in my camper last Sunday night that was like, wow, like how wise my 5-year-old is. So we'll get to that. If you got kids, you probably like this show. I wanted to talk about Yormark. I didn't really get to hit on this much last week because Yormark got a new 3-year deal with the Big 12. I think it was actually an extension to keep him as the Big 12's commissioner. I did touch on this on 2 Guys today, but I didn't get to go in depth. And so the reason I referenced that I'm writing this book is because I've done a lot on the Big 12 missile crisis, just the up and down aspect of covering the Big 12 for the last 20 years. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, there's a lot of stuff Yormark does that makes me cringe. That I'm just like, oh, God, really? We're doing that? But I can always, like, put myself in his shoes with his job, where you're trying to cover up a revenue gap from the Big Ten and the SEC. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Got to take a few more risks. I actually like that aspect of this new Big 12 because you can take risks, right? Like it's harder when you're in a position of power. You know, I look at the Big Ten and the SEC. They're the big stakeholders in this. They don't need to take as many risks, right? So they're not swinging for home runs as much as they're comfortable with hitting doubles, and they should be, because that's the position that they're in. But Yormark swings for a lot of home runs. But, you know, I'm not going to regurgitate everything that's going on in college athletics right now, because we've done that. I'm not going to go over it again. I want to make the quick point that despite the cringe stuff that I do get from Yormark every once in a while, he's the perfect guy to be leading the league right now. I loved Bob Bowlesby. I thought he was an incredible commissioner. I think Bob Bowlesby in the 90s and early 2000s is one of the best college administrators in history. What he did at Iowa, Stanford, in the Big 12, like the guy is unbelievable with like actual intercollegiate athletics. Well, guess what? Those times are gone. An absolute blessing that he got out when he did for the Big 12, because you know what the Big 12 needs now? They need a dude who will go into a dark alley and shank somebody behind their back. I know it sucks. It's probably a bad thing to say out loud. Guess what? I just said it out loud. That's the reality. This like gangster type mentality that I get from Yormark is what the Big 12 needs right now. They need a politician. They need a business person. I mean, I'm sure that Brett Yormark does care about the universities and like these players going to school. I really do. I think he cares. But really he doesn't. Because he's there to do a job. He's there to maximize revenue. And he's there to take this league into, you know, I won't say heights unseen, because I don't know. Honestly, just being real, I don't know if that's possible. But what he can do is be this transition guy from Bowlesby, who I thought it just did a great job. A lot of the stuff that went down, I mean, it wasn't. I think Bob kept the league together better than 90% of people could have done at that point in time. I think he was incredible. But he couldn't do it right now. Like, I would have no faith in, because he's too nice. He's too honest of a person. And again, I get the vibe from Yormark. You just look at his past, like everything, like what got him here. Right guy at the right time. What does that mean for the league? I don't know. But I need a guy right now. If I'm the Big 12, my standing in the universe, I need a guy who will play dirty. Shank somebody in an alley, right? Like that's the type of person you need at this point, because everybody else is doing it. You can't be the one nice guy in the room. And I thought Bowlesby at the end was the one nice guy in the room. So I was happy to see that. A good move by Big 12 presidents to extend Yormark, and I think he's done a really good job. He's made really good chess moves when he needed to. Made that TV deal before the Pac-12. If he doesn't do that, the Pac-12 exists right now and the Big 12 doesn't. Iowa State's probably in the Mountain West or the American. And that's the God's honest truth. I hate to say it, but I think that's where we're at. So, okay, there you go on that. I'm sitting with, I had a busy day on Wednesday of meetings, just one meeting after another. And a person I really respect, person who knows this business really well, says to me, local news and local media is on the verge of a renaissance. And I'm like, wow. Like the sound of that. It's not what you see on Iowa everywhere. It's what is happening, the local landscape behind the scenes. And I'm seeing it more and more. I try and stay as far away from like the financial aspect of it as I possibly can. Now, as a business owner, you can't turn a blind eye to that, because that would be a foolish thing to do. But I've found over the years that the more I'm obsessing over money, the less creative I can be. And the more I'm obsessing over creativity, the less I can think with the whatever part of my brain that handles finances. And my old boss at iHeart, Joel McCrae, told me that one time, and he was exactly right. And once he explained that to me about how your brain works, I'm like, oh, yeah, I could totally see that. But the reason being is, so when we look around like the total media landscape, all right, and look in our market specifically, and I've explained this on CW Pod before, about what is happening right now. So it's not that these entities in Des Moines don't make money. That's not the problem. The problem is they don't make enough money to turn the head of the CEOs in New York City, like a bigger market can do. That's the problem we're in right now. And what you're seeing is there's less and less content, fewer and fewer shows because of layoffs and corporate cuts and all that stuff. And it's not, again, I'm not blaming anyone who works and lives in Des Moines. That's not the case. They're doing the best that they can. This person says to me that local is about to have a renaissance, which I've kind of been on the front end of for 2 decades now, right? With Cyclone Fanatic being independently and locally owned. And when we started doing it, people didn't understand it. They're looking at us like, what are you talking about? Like, you got a message board and you're going to start doing a radio show on the internet. What in the hell is that, right? The thing now is these advertisers and these companies, they have to market somewhere. They got to go somewhere to get their word out, right? And a lot of these same companies that were scared to death to do this stuff 15 years ago now are diving headfirst into the 10-foot, which is the scary independent media. We're not scary anymore. We're becoming the mainstream. We're not there yet, but we're going to work really hard to do it, and we can't do it without all of you guys helping us spread the word. So I hope this person is right who said this to me. And we're going to keep working, again, as I said, really hard to get there. But it's definitely trending in a positive direction when you look at like our numbers and the amount of people who are consuming our content. Not only here, it's like Cyclone Fanatic has been around 20 years, and our numbers get better by the day. So like clearly there is some sort of like a shift happening, and we're on the good side of it. We can't screw it up. We can't act like we are in a position of power because we are not. We have to act every day like we are the underdog, and we are. And we have to attack every day like that. And we will do that here at Iowa Everywhere. Underdog mentality, baby. Channel Seed Studios, appreciate them. They came on board on day one. We wouldn't be here without our friends at Channel Seed. All right, the last little thing I wanted to get to today, and this is, I'll be pretty vulnerable with you guys here, but I feel like I have been for the most part of my life, right? Like, so Elise was an in vitro baby, and she is my little mini me. So my first daughter, Cameron, she's brilliant. She's an empath. She is talented with her music. She is much more like her mother than she is me, which is a great thing for her. Her mother is a beautiful veterinarian who very lucky to call my wife of 15 years as of today. Elise, my 5-year-old, is a lot like her daddy. She's got a little redneck in her, I learned over the weekend. I took her camping. I gave her this for Christmas. We went to the Kansas Speedway and camped for 3 nights in the infield of a NASCAR race. She loves NASCAR. Elise and I, we root for the same drivers. She likes to look at the TV and tell me what position the number 9 is in at all laps of the race, and get a little bit annoying because sometimes you just want to watch it, but it's good. Like, oh, Daddy's up to 16th now. Okay, we drop back to 18th. So I've been planning this weekend for us since December, and the great thing is it went off without a hitch, and it was better than I could have ever imagined. The weather was perfect. The races were great. Elise, again, she's 5, never complained once. We sat on top of my camper and watched cars go around in a circle. We had garage passes, took her into the pits. She got to meet drivers. She got to meet team spotters. She got her picture taken with some of her heroes. We bought some new hats together. It was amazing. We had snow cones. We had beers. I had beers. I spoiled the hell out of her. If I got to drink a beer, she got to drink a Fanta. up on top of the trailer. She just learned. I taught her how to ride her bike last week. We rode around the infield. I kept track on my Apple Watch. I walked over 10 miles in the weekend just chasing her around on her bike in the infield. It was incredible. Like, as a dad, it was the best weekend of my life. And the race got over on Sunday evening, and my dad and my brother-in-law and my nephew came up for the big NASCAR race. They leave. And it was, everybody's had this feeling, I think, when you come back from like a vacation where you're kind of like, oh, like back to reality. And this thing hit me on Sunday at about 5:00. All these people are starting to pull out of the campground. My other family is gone. And I just wanted to cry because it was over. And I had put so much into it and I had looked forward to it. Like, there was a night about 10 days ago where I woke up at 3 a.m. and I didn't fall back asleep because I was so excited to take Elise to the races. Okay. I didn't go back to sleep that night. And again, I'm almost in tears, and Elise senses it and she goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm really sad." I go, "Daddy's really sad because this weekend is about over and I had so much fun. And I don't want it to be over." And she responds and she says, "Oh, but we get to go home now and we'll do it again, Daddy. Like, it'll be fun." And you're right. So I'm going to go outside and I'm going to start kind of like packing up a little bit. We're not leaving till the morning. I don't want to deal with the drunks, all that stuff. And about, I don't know, an hour later, the selfish side of me comes out. The insecure side of me comes out. And I tell her, "Sweetheart, I'm just really sad. Like, Daddy's depressed." And she goes, "You just won't drop this, will you?" Exactly what she said. And she hits me upside the head with, "Dad, we'll do it again. Why won't you drop this?" She says. And again, like, first of all, it's like super selfish that I would be as immature as I was to go to a 5-year-old for reassurance, which is exactly what I was doing psychologically. But two, she didn't give it to me. She said, "Quit acting like an idiot and just be thankful for what you had." And what we did from there was magical. You know what we did? Sun setting, Kansas Speedway. Just got done watching a great race. We went outside and we played catch with her softball. She's, a little turtle, mini turtle. Maddie Van Wink's head coach. And we played catch for like an hour and a half, the infield of a NASCAR track, watching this beautiful sunset on a perfect day. And it may have been the best part of the weekend. Honestly, it may have been the best part of the entire weekend because we were watching the haulers, the trucks that have all the cars in them, and they're all leaving the track, and it was awesome. So if it would have been up to me, I would have been sitting there, in denial. Like, I want to go back to the real world, all this stuff, feeling sorry for myself. That little 5-year-old smacked me upside the head and said, "Dad, this has been an amazing weekend. Let's finish it off with a bang, and we'll do it again next year." It completely slaps me upside the head. It was incredible. We learn, those kids, they're powerful. What they don't know, right? They are so, I don't know what the word, naive's not the word. They benefit from what they don't know, from what they haven't experienced in the world, and they just look at it with a positive attitude, where we just like, "Oh shit, I gotta go back to work. I gotta get back to all these emails. I don't want to deal with this person," right? Boy, my 5-year-old taught me something on Sunday. Now I gotta retain it, is another thing. But I thought it was cool. Like, I thought it was really, really cool. And I thanked her. I did. I hugged her and I thanked her, and we rode another few miles on her bike. Got packed up, and it was just the most magical weekend. To share something you love, which is me and my racing. And I get it. There's not a lot of you who understand it. It's fine. Anything you're passionate about that you love as much as I love auto racing, that when your offspring or your maybe you have a friend, maybe you have a relative, and when you can share it with that person, it's just so much better. I did this same trip last year by myself, and I treated it as I'm going to go there and get away. We had a lot going on. It had just been a stressful time, and it was like, I'm going to go and unplug. And I sat there, and it was not as much fun because I didn't have anyone to share it with. To be able to share it with my 5-year-old was what made it so great. I didn't get to watch as much of the races. It's fine. You know, she is 5. We got to go potty. We got to get a snack. We got to do all this stuff. But to be able to share the weekend in general with her is what made it so freaking amazing. So there you have it. CW Pod this week. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Tell me if you like this format. Again, I'm not going to go away from the interviews, but I may not do as many of them. Might just kind of treat this like my little in-person therapy session as well, and talk about life, talk about stuff I'm interested in, because I got a lot of deep thoughts. You may not want to hear them. Thank you to Steeple Ridge Bourbon for giving me the platform to do this. Our friends at Channel Seed as well. Thank you all for watching and listening. Please give us a 5-star review if you don't mind. We have Murph and Indy coming up. The patio tour continues on at Confluence on Friday at 1 here on Iowa Everywhere. Have a great weekend.